what is my name is always controversial. And I remember waking up from a 3-week coma once, and the nurse was like, "What's your name? Do you know your name?" And I had grown up in Oakland, so I had given so many aliases, being a child of the streets, that I did, in fact, go, "What is my name?" And I've changed my name several times. So when you asked me that question, it triggered me. What's my name? What is my name? It's interesting. Today, right now, I'm Mr. Fantastic Negrito. But my mother won't call me that.
And tell us a little bit about what you do as far as your music.
Music. Well, I'm a recovering narcissist. So.
What does that mean to you when you say that?
It means you're both in trouble. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, it means I've survived a lot of awful things, and my coping mechanism was extreme narcissism, to cope with all these things I was hiding. Mostly with all, pain. Parents give you a lot of pain, I could sit down with both of you and we could break it down, like what your dad did and your mom and then what do we do moving forward in life? So then it comes back to music. Okay, so, I knew I was an artist, not a musician. I mean, I found the musician part boring, actually. I think I knew I was an artist and I wanted to express. And I knew, and somehow I had this ability to do music. I mean, I could have easily made cookies and I could have easily tried to paint, but that wasn't good. Somehow there was something I was in sync with when it came to pianos and guitars. And most importantly, storytelling. So for music, it's been a very long, interesting journey. But that is my medium for now.
And as far as that drive for that music and to produce and create that music, and it sounds like it's not just music, it's artistry, it's production, it's farming. Where does that come from, that creativity?
Where does it come from? What is a good question? Because, part of me wants to impress you and give you this grand answer. Where does it come from? Like the cosmos and the stars. And I sit out in the pentagram. I don't know, where does it, who knows where it comes from? I think it's thousands of years old. Perhaps it's the most, truest form of communication before human beings could talk to each other. And we were living wherever we were living, I don't know, in bushes and in the shrubbery and trees, in caves. We were probably with dogs and like, and someone was like, yeah, it felt good. So I think that's where it comes from. It's older than language. So then what we're doing now, this thing called language, and, for you, you're from Chile, there's Spanish and English, and where is it? Yeah, I think it comes from all those places. They're ancient, they're old, they're necessary. And I think that's how we really, truly reach and touch each other, is with this gift called music, sound, expression.
Yeah, and creation itself.
I mean, I think what you're talking about, this is the vibe I'm getting, is that it comes from your ancestors. It comes from a deep, deep place in you, inside.
Yeah.
And then your ancestors.
Well, they're your ancestors too.
Yes.
And they're yours. That's what I'm trying to just say collectively. That's where, because we're, this whole thing of like, country, it's pretty new. It's very new, actually. It's quite fabricated. But I think it just comes from us and like our beginnings and harmonizing and vibrations, and it comes from suffering too. Truly, thousands of years ago, maybe it was a union, a wedding, a child's death. an annoying neighbor. And somehow we had to come to terms with that stuff. And I think it was sound. And it varies everywhere you go in the world. There's just different sounds, different scales.
And the healing aspect of it, it sounds like, from the suffering, from the trauma, like you were talking about, like our parents and like the things that we've experienced. We've all been there, but there's a way you access it.
I mean, I think healing is like a overused word sometimes, but I think that, the process has to be what it is. And sometimes there's healing and sometimes there's not. Sometimes you're going through it. So I think it's different for everyone. And sometimes even, we see not healing is also, I look at the community I come from where I'm about to go down and take a left here. If I look at African Americans, sometimes I think we're in this perpetual, some of us, not all of us, state of like poverty and suffering. You see like other immigrant groups have come out of it, and sometimes I look at us and I go, gosh, we seem to sometimes be in a cycle. But, great music comes out of it. That's for sure, and great art form comes out of it. But, I'm not smart enough to break all these things down or even qualified, but these are things I think of as I'm talking to you guys and we're having this discussion.
And being you, that's all we want. That's impressive enough.
Well,
like, let's just lay it down and just.
I mean, sometimes, sometimes,
I'm only speaking
sometimes it's terrible. You have to hang out with me long enough.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh my God, get this dude away from me. No más Negrito.
No,
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, I'm horrible too, which is okay.
Totally.
Right? I mean,
yes, please.
That's totality.
I'm working on that, but it's I'm definitely that. Look out.
Yeah.
Before you joined us, we asked you to send us 3 songs that you wanted featured. You chose 3 songs from your most recent album.
I figured why not? It's recent,
Yeah. I wanted you to tell us about Grandfather Courage. I wanted you to tell us about Highest Bidder, the song that you wanted featured.
It's funny, Grandfather Courage happened right in this room, and it was just upright bass player here, piano player sat there. I think we did use drums. I think, drummer was in the hallway though. But it, I'd done this, I produced this film called White Jesus, Black Problems, and it was the story of my 7th generation grandparents being an interracial, forbidden couple on a tobacco plantation in Virginia. The grandmother being white, woman, which was different. It's very different. And I thought it was the most punk rock shit I've ever heard. It's like a white woman on a plantation. It didn't. You imagine this could have happened, but here I was staring at this document. And these were my ancestors. And I thought, wow, this whole thing of race that we're obsessed with in America. We seem to be obsessed with race and freedom and guns and all. We're obsessed with this stuff. So I thought it was very interesting to share through the lens of this title, White Jesus, Black Problems, which I always wanted to say that, but I just didn't know in what situation I'd be able to say it. White Jesus, white problems, white Jesus, brown problems. I mean, it's all this idea of one group being superior to another's. Perhaps it's old too, very old, very ancient, but it's very bad for everyone. And I thought, wow, this really affected my white grandmother too. She made this choice to have Black children. And when I read the document, it said an unnamed Negro slave owned by Henry Jones. I memorized this stuff. I thought, well, I didn't know he should be unnamed. I thought he deserved Grandfather Courage. It was a fitting name. So I wanted to just take White Jesus, Black Problems, the album, just deconstruct it. And I imagined myself being like a college student in a dorm who had maybe seen some Fantastic Negrito's Tiny Desk stuff and was like, I like that better. And I really hate all of your albums. I wanted to be that guy. And so I wanted to re-record the album and make the songs unrecognizable. And if they were unrecognizable, I was being successful in my production. But a lot of times, I don't know about for other artists, I say that as a recovering narcissist. It's like I'm better than other artists. I don't know about those other artists. But I tell you, when I do it, see, watch it. That's what it is, watch it. I catch myself. I don't know what the process is for other people, and I may even be interested, actually, if I'm invited into the room. But for me, it's about being someone else always. And it's the beauty of stumbling upon this career in my late 40s, as I went to the BART station, is that the beauty is that I don't feel the pressure of like, if you're 20, there's pressure. Like a hip hop artist, like, what's the latest flow? What's the latest thing? If you're a pop artist, like, how many streams do I have? But being an older guy, I was just like, fuck all of you.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. I'm old and I like it. And I remember a kid coming up to me. I was playing at the BART station. He's like, you should try it for Tiny Desk. They're having a contest. And I was like, what is Tiny what? I had no idea because I wasn't hip. I wasn't cool. So that's the beauty. I'm going back to that because in creating as being Fantastic Negrito, now a guy in his 50s, it's amazing because you get to, it's like creating with I have the wisdom of a grandfather, but the freedom of a 17-year-old. And it's the most, freest place that you can be in. And I really like it. So that's how I get to Grandfather Courage and deconstructing what I did and even disrespecting it in a way and letting it be something else, which I think is very necessary in art. You don't want to be too safe. I usually feel the best when I'm a little uncomfortable.
And Highest Bidder in particular, like, what did that say?
Highest Bidder, I think it came from my story of Why Jesus Black Problems when I realized that they didn't kill my grandparents in the 1700s for race mixing, little race mixing. I think it was about money. They thought, well, I need to make money. I'm Henry Jones. I own these people. Indentured servants were owned for 7 years. And I think it kind of, again, our obsession with race, I was like, wow, we get so obsessed with that. But we may be looking at the wrong thing. We should maybe look to the right over here and see that people wanted to get paid. Just in that time, they wanted the finest carriages and the finest, wigs and the best servants and the best horses, And I think for me, I don't know about other people, I was focusing on, it's really money. We're really obsessed with, my race. No, it's the money. Mm-hmm. It's the money. And the whole institution of slavery was based on money. Mm-hmm. And indentured servants, the money will take your money too. In any other place we're going to conquer, in the Spanish conquistadors, they were looking for gold. It's just money. Yeah, so I realizing that helps me get past a lot of things. And look at that, human beings have the capacity to love and the capacity to be completely greedy. And we see that now in society where it's like, look at the potholes in Oakland. You're driving, it's like, pothole city, Broken Glass Boulevard. Look at our schools and, but we, are one of the wealthiest economies in the world. And you wouldn't think that looking at the people displaced living on the streets. Mm-hmm. And frankly, for a guy that lives in the Bay Area, that's embarrassing to me as I go out into the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. And we talk about, how progressive we are and how inclusive we are, but we have all this money and resources. And thousands of people live on the streets. And there's lawlessness and people, you see these videos of people going in stores and just stealing stuff and no one's doing it. And I was one of these kids, in the 80s. Boy, I'm old. It's the dye. I don't lie. But yeah, it was like, and then but I remember when there was stuff to do and there was programs and there was incentive, then I wouldn't want to go steal and break into cars and break into them. But I think we have a lot of work to do in that arena. So I don't even know what the question was, but highest bidder. Yeah, that. It's just like, it's weird. That's not cool. You know, this paradigm, I guess, of like left-leaning politics and right-leaning politics. Well, if we keep leaning left, right, we end up kind of meeting each other in this very unproductive, destructive place that doesn't serve anyone. And right now in America, it's all about divisiveness, if that's a word. I told you, Oakland public schools now. Divisiveness. It was, no, but I was funny right there, so I forgot what I was gonna say. But yeah, highest bidder. Yeah, what I was gonna say, like, yeah, I hate that it's just so loud on both sides, and there's this divisional politics. How can I get you? You know, if you don't, I'm a guy on the left. I'm, you know, progressive. But if I don't believe in every 10 things, you know, that you've named on the left, then, I got you. You're whatever. I'm going to call you whatever. You're anti this, or you're anti that. And I don't think that works. I really don't think it works at all. I don't think there's a future in it. We're just really divided. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you that from being married. It's like, if you want everything and you want to be right all the time, you ain't going to make it. And personally, that makes you kind of an asshole, you know? So it's about giving and taking and understanding, okay, you want a little bit of this, and I give you a little bit of that, and maybe I'm this, I'm a compromise this, and boy, I don't like this. But you know what? In order to make this thing go, I'm gonna go along with it. Because if I don't, I know that everything goes to the highest bidder. And the highest bidder wins. And they win. That's small percentage, you know, that runs everything. They win. We all lose. And it's not my big mouth. Look at what's going on in our cities. In our progressive, democratic, left-leaning cities, go to San Francisco. I got kids in school. So that's where it comes from. Like and it goes back to that plantation. Like deconstruct, I keep saying deconstruct. Like that's the only word that I know. Just think of another word. But yeah, just taking apart that whole idea. We're obsessed with these things and we're staring at these things over here, but really it's just right there. But we're like, yeah, you know, this like injustice and this thing, and no peace, no justice, whatever, you know, the slogans and the bumper stickers, but it's right there. It's right there. I'm not that smart. I didn't do well in school, but somehow I know that a lot of this is full of shit and not in any of our best interests, no matter where you are politically. I'm not political either. People always say I'm political. Like your music, I can relate because it's so political. I'm political?
Right.
I don't want anything. I think that's I don't want, if you're political, I think you want something. I don't want anything. I look at myself as like, wow. Well, I better stop saying myself. That's the narcissism. I look at it like, hey, you know what, man? I'm just out here. Look, I see this dude. Look, he's got a hat on with an eye on it. Let me write that. He's got a hat on, an eye on it. I love to do that as an artist. Man, I see this. Oh, my God, the Latinos, they're dancing. Latinos were dancing. Wow. Look, trans person, holy shit. So I wrote the song Transgender Biscuits. I love it. I love to be observing like what's happening. I don't want to say kind of without an opinion in a way. Maybe I'm a coward in a way, but I like it. I like saying the last days of Oakland. I see it. I'm telling you, you ain't gonna be able to afford this shit in a few years. How many years since that album? Oh Lord. Negro Damas. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy that part of being an artist. It's like a storyteller. Like I'm telling y'all, I see it, it's out there. I know it sounds scary, but it's out there and I didn't make it up. But somebody's got to tell you that it's out there.
Well, there's an eye that you have.
Yeah.
That you capture in your music that then people have access to what you see.
Yeah, I like that.
Which is really cool.
I love that.
Because I think the divisiveness, of labeling Democratic or Republican, right, left, black, white, is all to keep us away from each other.
Yes.
Yes, you know.
And I may disappear after this for saying this. This may be the last time you see it.
Yeah, what's your mental health journey been for you?
Well, it's boy, I think it's ongoing, and it's just like your physical health. You have to put in the work, and you have to have the tools. And so I work on acquiring the tools because it's a lot. I was talking to my Uber driver. He was not my Uber driver. Mine. He lives in the back shed. What's his name? Come on now. So no, I was talking to the Uber driver. We were talking about traveling. I was saying, interesting thing about being a Black person, traveling is that I didn't realize the level of stress I was carrying around when I'd be in South America or Japan or France or England and no one's afraid of me. Then I would talk to other older Black men. We'd be like, yeah, that is a burden to, oh shit, they're afraid of me. Let me adjust and make you feel all right. But I remember France, and I'm coming home like real late, and this young white girl's going into her apartment. I'm like, oh shit, it's like 2 a.m. This is gonna be uncomfortable. She's like, bonjour. Nothing. And I was like, wow. Or being in, Brazil. Now, Brazil has some history, but for me, I didn't feel it. Maybe because I was in Sao Paulo. Even being in Mexico, and just people aren't afraid of you. Being in England, late at night, and so that's amazing. That because if someone's afraid of you all the time, that wears you down.
Of course.
It breaks you down, but you may not even know it. And there's a lot of that right here in progressive Oakland. You're like, people be afraid. I'd be like, I'm Fantastic Negrito. I don't want to say that, but I remember being on MacArthur walking, and this guy's just like doing this, and I was just like, look, man, I'm not going to do nothing to you. And he felt weird, but his woman was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, just chill the fuck out. Like, we're so afraid of each other, and that is not healthy, I think. I think also this is a very politically charged environment, the United States. Again, with the divisional politics, and I think that has a tremendous effect on not only myself, but I even see children. Children, there's so many issues that people are dealing with that, I think because of social media and even that, social media pressure, like, even if you say you're not feeling it, I think that you really are inside. So all these things affect you. And just how people perceive you or how you want to be perceived. It's interesting.
Totally. You mentioned that for you, like the ongoing journey of your own mental health, you use different tools. What are some of your go-tos?
I usually go up and I slap a stranger that I don't. I feel better. Nah. Oh, I mean, that'd be funny.
That would be funny.
A lot of lawsuits. There's hell of lawsuits. I think, it's like, for me, it's agriculture, getting my hands in the soil. Nature, man, just connecting with trees and when it rains. Trying to be, this, to me, I say deep breath, reset, refresh. It's my favorite. I've been teaching to my kids, and they're little, deep breath, reset, refresh. They know it as kids. I love that because it's real easy. And it can de-escalate a lot of things. Because, the enemy is really, ego. Ego and pride and all this stuff. And so deep breath, reset, refresh helps you. And even when people are not nice and people are not kind, that helps me. It's just like an instant meditation. Where I could go to the left, but I'm going to deep breath, reset, refresh. It's one of my favorite instant tools that work. But I think, pressure, stress, fear, even from being an entertainer, I think there's a way to always try to connect it back to that deep breath, reset, refresh. I've had terrible stage fright. You go out on the road, there's a temptation of drugs and liquor and women and parties. And, oh my God, fun. Joking. Not
No,
fun.
you're not.
Destructive. No, I'm joking. I'm boring. People hate me. They're like, you go to your hotel room. Like, you're boring. I hate you. I'm boring. I remember I was in England. They're like, you don't smoke. You don't drink. Then what do you do? I remember a guy saying that. But no, I think that's working on yourself and mental health. And, the wanting is a disease. I gotta have, because you're trying to fix something. I'm trying to fix this thing, and if I take this, if I smoke this, then it takes me over here. It takes me over here rather than confronting. Sometimes you just have to be terrified. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be terrified. I was in an accident, which left me in a coma 3 weeks, so I have really a lot of anxiety driving sometimes. But when I'm driving, I gotta tell myself, you know what, I'm terrified, and I gotta be, this is what it is. This is gonna be terror.
And you acknowledging that keeps you safe.
Yes.
And making the right decision.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not something that I've mastered, but it's just when we talk about like mental health, these are some of the things here that you deal with, it's, and the accolades can make you insane, I remember after winning like my 3rd Grammy in a row, what I did is I went home and I washed the dishes. And I thought that was great. Because it was the pandemic, so I wasn't in LA, and I was like, I was just sitting up here. I came in, and, when you have kids, no one cares. Like arguing, fighting. I went over and I washed the dishes. And I was thinking, like, this is really good. And I never keep my Grammys either. I never keep that stuff. I feel like that's downfall, And I have the same car since my kid was born. I always tell him, I bought you home in this car. And I love stuff like that because I think it's a mental health tool to like to stay grounded.
Yes.
Stay with this stuff, and
be human.
Be human.
Washing dishes is what humans do. That's
exactly.
what we do when no one's looking.
Yes.
And so I can totally see that.
And back to the farming, it's like that's everything. It's like upcycling. And you see my shirt, it's like this is all part of my mental health journey. Or these pants, well, as Dave Chappelle show said, you didn't get these in the men's section, player. But it's okay, Hey, I won't pick my kids up from school in them. But yeah, I think there's something beautiful about, like, I met one of your artists through Habib. He does a lot, a lot of upcycling. I feel like that's a victory for people because you're just, being a consumer all the time is something debilitating, and I can't forgive the words. It's almost like this form of slavery. Like when I see people, I have a check whenever I see these people with these Louis Vuitton bags. Sorry if people have Louis Vuitton bags. And I go, this is bizarre and strange that people with not a lot of money are obsessed with Louis Vuitton. And I don't know why it's that bag, but it's that bag. And people want them, whether it's counterfeit one or whatever. It's because it's a status symbol.
For sure.
But I think it's a ridiculous status symbol in a way. And so my way of not is to wear. I remember I was on the red carpet. They're like, man, who wear your stuff? Man, there's people like, oh, this is Christian Dior. And this is like, but then they got to me and I was like, Pineapple Mama. They're like, who made your shit? Like, Pineapple Mama. And it's like this little boutique, but I was like, yeah, this is great. Yeah, Pineapple Mama. And this, really helped their business. And that helps me with my mental health, is that I have to constantly do for others. When I'm doing for others, when I'm even living for others, sounds crazy, sounds very un-American, that's where I find the peace. And that's where Revolution Plantation comes in. Where it's like, I learned and got this name, which people hate all of my names. Oh my God. People hated Fantastic Negrito, people hate Revolution Plantation, White Jesus, Black Problems. I remember my band members were like, man, when are you gonna come up with something that makes us money? Like, nobody's gonna, you ain't getting no endorsements, bro. What? And I don't want to do this, but I feel like it just comes. And it's coming from someone, somewhere. I remember coming up with Fantastic Negrito. I was sitting in a room like this, and I'm staring at the Oakland Tribune Tower, and it just came to me. And I was like, I went into this conference or this room meeting that was happening. Everybody, because I've been playing on the streets, and like, I got a name for myself as an artist. It's gonna change history and everything. They're like, what is it? Fantastic Negrito. Literally, there's 3 people there. They were like, boo, they booed me. They're like, that's the worst name ever. And one guy was like a marketing guy. He goes, Xavier? He goes, I work in marketing. And he was like, Fantastic Negrito won't work because white people, we don't want to say the word Negrito. It makes us uncomfortable. And then I thought, that's perfect. But I thought for a moment, why do I have to make white people comfortable?
Wow.
Do they have to make me comfortable? It's like, what the?
Yep.
So I knew, and then I thought, like, y'all didn't grow up with Latinos. You grew up with them, but I grew up in their house, eating their food, listening to their music, dating their daughters behind their back. I mean, I was in the mix with just, blacks and Latinos, especially in the Bay. We're intermingling. So I remember hearing banda music, and I always heard the word Negrito. So I was like, well, they don't sound mad. So I literally, it just was in my DNA. That word Negrito, I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling it. So whenever someone is uncomfortable with it, they're revealing themselves a little bit. Yeah, you don't know Latinos, do you? Yeah. Like, I'm like, hi, but you didn't grow up with them to know what the name is. Now, if somebody's saying pinche Negrito, then that's bad. But I'm saying Fantastic Negrito. So, yeah. So, yeah, I have a lot of people have problems with my names and my titles. I remember when I won Tiny Desk, and I was in a room full of these hipsters on NPR, like, bro, like, what's the name, like the next album? I said, it's gonna be called The Last Days of Oakland, and people went, it was like the air went out of the room, and I was like, I remember my mother was like, don't use that title. My mother, yeah, she's afraid for all my titles, but I just wanted to tell the story. And that part of like the mental health process for me is just telling that story, knowing that if I died tomorrow, that, man, I really told the stories. That have you lost your mind yet? Like, please don't be dead. I was talking about like where we are in this country, and that album was all about mental health. And now White Jesus Black Problems, like, maybe it's uncomfortable, and I get hate mail for this stuff from even some black people. Like, man, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Why would you say something like that? All that, But of course, plenty of angry right-wing white males with guns always. But I'm not saying anything that crazy, actually. You're like, yes, you are. It's like,
no, you're saying a lot of things that people think. And
I'm saying like why it's hard for my little black children like to watch Netflix for me to go, okay, who are the heroes here? Oh, shit.
Right.
Oh, my God, that's not to be anti-white or anything, but our heroes also need to look like us, and they have to be black and brown and white and Asian and whatever, and mixed race. This is all beautiful because, man, I travel the world, y'all. I've been on 6 continents, and most of the world is not white. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's just not. Exactly. And there's nothing wrong or right about that. It's just, I think it's great when there's a representation and we're telling the truth. I like those 2 things. And these help my journey of mental health. But the physical part is being in the garden, touching that soil, man, composting that chicken manure, planting something and watching it grow and knowing that plants are like people. If you give a plant a beautiful environment, air, fresh, clean air, clean water, nourishment, space, man. Love. That plant grows and it provides food. When I used to grow weed, it provided money to take care of my village. Now, if I disrespected that plant, if I didn't give that plant the adequate space, clean water, check that pH, make sure it's in a good environment, well, then the plant failed me. And the plant would not produce for me, and I lose all my money growing indoor. Let me look into a camera. So that's why I check that pH, make sure them plants are happy. and you groom them where the buds get so big. They're falling over, you got to tie the buds. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, agriculture. Plants, you learn a lot about people with those plants. And those plants, just like those people, will take care of you. And they'll provide for you and make your life amazing if we look out for them. Now, if we let them just rot on the streets and live in filth, then they're not going to provide for us. They're going to make us uncomfortable. And just like our school systems, if we just provide for these beautiful people, these little people, which are just so amazing, and the people teaching them, if we provide, then it's going to be amazing. Then we're like, I'm in Japan. I'm like, where's the poverty?
Right.
I'm in these Norwegian countries. Man, everybody got healthcare.
Right.
Everybody got books and shit. Y'all ain't killing each other. Like, wow, this is amazing. Like, if we invest in the right things. So, I don't know.
I remember you saying one of the most revolutionary things you can do is farm.
Yeah, and I got that from Gangsta Gardener, too. I think I did. I believe I did. I don't want to... Ron Finley, who's a friend, kind of, we're friends. He's been over to my house. I like Ron Finley a lot, and I love what he does. And the Gangsta Gardener, he's in LA. But yeah, I think I might have gotten that from him. I think I did. I might not have, but let's just say I did. But I think it is. I think for every one of us, man, if we just went home and said, you know what, I don't need a lawn. Man, what we need to do is grow some food. And it's like there's something about you grew that food and you went out there, you tell your kids, go get some greens and bring back in so we can, make a salad here. Run out there and grab daddy some eggs. It's beautiful, man. I think number one, you're not paying Whole Foods. Sorry if Whole Foods, you want to endorse a tour, I'll take that back. Well, you ain't endorsing nothing. So let me just tell you, grow your own shit. It doesn't take that much. I mean, my kids will go and with nieces, nephews, other kids, I'll have these, we do a scavenger hunt, we'll go on the sides of the roads and bring back old dressers. You come, or found an old boat, and then, you plant in there. And it says you're doing a huge favor to the earth, to your neighborhood, to your environment. Man, I'm out hiking, I don't see a lot of black and brown people. And I'm like, what, do we hate nature? But I don't think it's that, I just think there's some message that's, and again, I don't claim to be the person that went to school, but there's something that's not cool or something for us. I don't know, but
How did you learn to love nature?
I learned to love nature, absolutely.
How? What was that process?
I think, I spent a lot of time in rural Virginia.
Okay.
And I'm probably there. And I saw, my grandmother, and I come from these generations of people that lived in the country, but I think it's just growth too. I don't know. Because I grew up as a kid in Oakland. I wasn't hiking in the hills.
No,
I felt like that was something white people did. You hiking? Not hiking, I'm kicking it at the mall. But I think with Revolution Plantation, they help change that.
Tell us more about Revolution Plantation.
I mean, it came from one day like this with cameras, bored in Virginia in the 80s. With my grandmother, big ass camera, I'm like, Grandma, tell me about segregation while I was just kicking back. Tell us about Jim Crow. So I was expecting one thing, but my grandmother said something that shocked me. She said, honey, she was in her 90s. Honey, we didn't have too many problems with white folks because we didn't have to ask them for nothing. All of a sudden, I sat up. Like, what? I wasn't expecting this. She was like, yeah, your great-grandfather, Brown, Benjamin Brown, we had hogs, we had chickens, and the neighbors, they grew this, and the next neighbor grew that. And I'm like, 20 years later, I was like, oh, Grandma was talking about a collective. And I thought that was amazing. No one had ever said that. No, we win. We win. We don't lose. Even in the worst of the segregation in the 20s, it's like there was, Oklahoma and Black Wall Street. We'll be all right. If we trust each other and we work with each other, we're going to be all right. And I love that message. And I thought of the Revolution Plantation, taking that word, which people hate. Don't say that word. Well, just taking it back and making a plantation could be a powerful thing. If everybody's free, you're growing, if people own it, yeah. So That's where it came from. I thought of this idea where, and I hate to say like helping people. It just sounds so cliche. I'm helping people. Helping the underprivileged. I don't like that. It's condescending. I like that, like we just like getting together and you're actually helping me. But if I have this space and I can open it up and I have some knowledge and I'm one of the elders in the village, I need your help and you need my help. That's where I love that. The other way, it's like I feel like I'm looking down on you. Like, well, you poor little guy here. No, you're not. You're amazing and you're brilliant. And let's help each other by peeling back some layers here. I love this idea. And that's where Revolution Plantation comes from. It's this idea of just, don't say deconstructing. Like all this deconstructing. No, it's the only word I know.
Breaking down.
Breaking them down. Yeah. We're going to compost it. I do love compost. See, it's this idea of like, what we're doing isn't working. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. And what can I do differently? As Fantastic Negrito, who's a different kind of guy, And that's good. That's okay.
You provide that avenue for folks.
Yeah, how can we help each other get there?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I love that because I don't know what I'm doing, I really need everyone's help in this room. And I hope you need my help. And that's what I see as Revolution Plantation. It's like, we ain't doing the same old thing. You gotta come away from this knowing how to do something. If you can't come away from this being an electrician at least, or being a painter, or you can provide for yourself and your village, your community, then we've all failed. And I failed. And come away as a musician, whatever. Skills pay the bills. That's it. And maybe the avenue, the vehicle for me is agriculture because I love it. I love farming. I love seeing those chickens run around. I love goats and sheep. I love, I'm not vegan, so I do eat meat. Sorry. I'm not a vegan. So it's okay. I think I think it's maybe even more humane if you fed your animals and They provided meat. You provided for them and you provided for you, which I don't do yet, but I like the idea.
You had talked about growing up in Oakland. And before we jump to that part of the conversation, I actually wanted to take it back to that second song that we want to feature on this episode, which is titled Oh Betty. Could you tell us a little bit about that song?
Well, Oh Betty is the story of my grandparents, 7 generations going to 1700s. That's 250 years ago. They formed a forbidden union on a tobacco plantation owned by a guy named Henry Jones. And I found this document and it said, Elizabeth Gallimore, Betty, is presented in Amelia County Courthouse for unlawfully cohabitating with a Negro slave, in parentheses, unnamed, belonging to Henry Jones, and having several mulatto children. I was like, gangster. That's gangster. Fuck all this other shit. Hope y'all can edit my cursing. It's the most gangster. Like I said, the most punk rock shit. Like, damn, white woman, really? Really?
Right.
Oh, okay. You're all like, you want to be outcasted and killed? You like, how did it happen? That song was about Oh Betty, about grandfather courage, how they made that decision. Then you got to come before the community on a slave plantation and go like, well, we're expecting someone. Yeah. So I wanted to pay homage to my Black enslaved grandfather and my white Scottish indentured grandmother. And I imagine that being him speaking to her. Oh, Betty, I'm grieving. The years keep passing me by, but I keep believing you're the only thing that matters. Oh, it's like kind of I would say a love letter, but they couldn't write. It's just like his feelings, mental health, your feelings, he wanted to express who he was as a human being for a woman that he loved. And she was a man that she loved. And what's wrong with that? That was beautiful and powerful. And what a middle finger to white supremacy, because the interesting thing is that the babies were born, and guess what? They were deemed by the court, according to this document, well, damn, there can't be slaves because the woman is not a slave. Because they never imagined a white woman would do that.
Exactly.
They thought black women were having it against their will. You have mulatto kids. More slaves. You know.
More money.
Yep, highest, everything goes to the highest bidder. Master coming around, okay, your turn. I'm hitting your woman. I got some more kids. But they didn't think, oh, Betty, sneaky little Betty. Sneaking around, she was probably cleaning in the big house and caught a glimpse of some glistening chocolate in the sun. Like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, Miss Scottish. You know, he was probably like, did that white woman look at me? I don't know, but I'm going to keep on digging. I'm imagining all that. That's why I made the film, because you have to imagine all this. You have this artistic license, and I'm so glad that Boots Riley saw it, and he was like, you know, we got to do something. So we did a feature of it at Grand Lake together. I like that. He gave me the highest compliment. He was like, man, when I saw that, I was jealous. And I felt the same way about his movie. And I think, you know, we got to be jealous. That's what I'm like, man, I seen you over there, man. You were busting, man. Let me go do my thing. I love that. I love competition in art. Yes, everyone don't get a medal. Sorry. And that's beautiful. Everyone shouldn't get a medal. Watch, I'm going to get hate mail. I always get hate mail. I should make an album of the hate mail that I get, but I'd get sued because it'd be like copyright infringement. But no, I don't believe in that. I feel like go out there and work for it and go fail. Because when you fail, that's when you become mighty. Man, I got a lifetime of failure, let me tell you something. Man, I was signed as a 20-year-old. They gave me $1 million, and I failed. $1 million. I was humiliated. And I felt like nothing. And I lost my hand in a car accident. And I failed. Look at that. And it can't move, but boy, I won 3 Grammys with this hand. You know what I mean? So it's like you gotta fail. You gotta fail to find out who you are.
I can hear you talking though, and I can hear, because you're a performer just like the athletes.
Yeah.
Like the roots, like the boys and men who play on our team.
Yeah.
Like dealing with all of this and not knowing their humanity, defining who they are by what they do. And if I lose, I'm a loser. If I fuck up, I'm a fuck up. You know, but like getting in touch inward with that humanity that you are talking so freely with and about right now.
It's because I'm old. That's
I mean,
why.
so,
they're young. Yeah.
But when you talk about like, I hope that people need something from me or that I can give from them, you are.
I think
by sharing your stories.
That's what made me walk out to the BART station and start playing, because and upon doing that at 47 years old now, I had even friends who were like, bro, come on. You gotta try. Remember you had that deal back in Interscope?
Yeah.
They're like, dude, you had your thing.
Yeah,
you're old. I said I was too old. Then they were like, let me hear the songs. Oh, nigga, what is wrong with you? What are these songs, man? What are you, back in Georgia or something? They're like, my boy was like, where the drums at? Only one of my homies believed in me, and that was, I'll tell the story of that. But it was good though. It's like, because we're taught like, we're old, you're done. And like, it's gotta be, look, if you're gonna do it, okay, it's gotta be like this. First of all, you should be like a black dude doing like soul music with a white band. That works. They're like, no, that works, because you know, there's a pattern in that, but you're crazy. You're doing your, what the hell is that? Trying to take, I heard all that. But I knew that I'm useful. I think, because I'm ready to take it off.
Yeah.
And I'm embarrassed. But I'm going to go out there and I'm going to sing, night has turned to oh, night has turned to Now, I'm going to go sing it. I'm going to sing, I sold Coke to Hungry Eyes. I sold, so I'm going to say everything. I'm going to reveal who I am. And, I'm a liar. I'm a recovering narcissist. Wow. Thank God. Everybody, I'm here. I'm the most fucked up person in the room. Okay, let's do it now. And I think I need to do it really.
I thought we were supposed to say that. I'm the most fucked up person in the room.
I am.
That's what you're all saying.
No, I am. And so I need to do that for my kids, to be honest with you. For me, it's about my kids. I mean, I know it.
For sure.
So that they can know that I had to do this because I didn't want to be a tyrant or a horrible person, which I am, that too, as much as I'm a valuable, wonderful, upstanding Revolution Plantation for a thing. And I'm also this horrible tyrant that my father created, I'm doing a song now, I'm the son of a broken man. You know, we could both drown in a river of tears that I caused so many people to cry. I slept so many nights next to a woman while I was lonely inside. You know what I mean? It's like, this is this horrible person too, but that's okay because I'm working on it, man, you know, and I hope you are too. And I want to tell you as a 55-year-old that it's okay. Yeah. It's all right, bro, because me too. I'm scared too, you know. My daughter was doing like a ballet and I'm so scared. I'm like, guess what? I'm going to do a concert. I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't think my songs are good enough. I'm not a good singer. I can barely play the guitar with this hand, all this stuff. You know, but boy, when them lights come on though, look out.
Yeah. No, that's huge. I'm inspired and moved like by you just being totally vulnerable and authentic.
Well, and I'm not there yet. Because when I get
right now,
I'm trying to get to being vulnerable, but when I get there, it's going to be shocking. I'm not there. I'm really trying to get there, man. It's so hard to get there to real, because all this is just, you know when I'm vulnerable, you know when I'm honest, you're not here and I'm making the record. And I'm doing the song, then I'm honest. But you know, all this is a lot of posturing. You know, like, am I sitting upright? It'd be better if I had a booger in my nose and I was farting to the whole thing. Then we could be like, all right. We don't have to do that, please. And please don't fart in the room with the doors are closed. I think like that. I think we're missing an honesty. Like, I think, let's get back to even race thing. Like, I'd love to do a town hall meeting where everybody was just honest. Like I want to meet the people like where I'm coming down the street and you're terrified. And you're white and you're in West Oakland. I fucking want to hear that. And I want to just be like, I get it. I get it. And I want to be back, like, as a black person, be just as honest. Like, hey, man, I went to the bank or something, I don't know, and I felt like you thought I was stupid or something. Or I want to meet the Latinos or something. I'd be like, and I think that you think that I'm not working hard enough. And I want to be the brother, man, you motherfuckers are all coming to East Oakland and we felt left out. I mean, damn it, can we do that? What could we call it? Let's do it. The cancellation town hall. But I think, just like being married, with marriage, you got to kind of dodge a little bit of that, but I think it would help us. I'd be down to do it. I'd go. Yeah, we could just be honest. And I think that we'd start changing.
You're talking about that honesty, maybe even that access to vulnerability when it comes to creating music.
Yeah.
How do you access that? How do you access that?
I probably don't. I'm trying to. I mean, I probably fail all the time doing it. I'm trying to every time, you know, and I'd love to hear that dude, you know. He's trying. You hear him sometimes, there's glimpses of him. But I'm trying to, and maybe if I stop trying to, that's why I got that toy piano over there. I'm like, we put the toy piano. I think, you know.
Because my thing is, you either are or you aren't. And it can come and go in any moment, any second, you know.
You are or you aren't. Like,
you are vulnerable or you aren't one. I mean, is it that didactic? I don't know. Is it that, like, black and white?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I would be like, yeah. I wish I had answers to all this. I think as an artist, it's hard. Mm-hmm. I think when people listen to my work, every album is different, and that's me trying to be as uncomfortable as I can be and hoping that you're uncomfortable. But at the same time, you can get into it. It's tricky because if you become, as an older guy, as I listen to my teenagers' music, and it's like, same trap beat, the same hoes and bitches, up in the club, on the street. Then I'm like, okay, it's the same formula that people know that it works, so it's not interesting.
Yeah.
It's not interesting. It's interesting when someone comes along and I don't want to say deconstruct it. There are people that break through and they're doing it like differently. They may be talking about the same thing, but since I'm so old, I can reference the most popular person I could hear would be like a Kendrick or even like I get glimpses of like these Vince Staple, people like that I have exposure to some people like that. And I'll be like, wow, that's interesting that you're really thinking about this, you know, and it's not just, I don't want to say simplicity because that's kind of looking down on people. But yeah, just stepping outside of it and becoming uncomfortable is important. As an artist, I don't know about as a person.
I think it's amazing that you can say that. I mean, you are a person and an artist. I think that in the work that I do, there's like a to get to the next level as an athlete or as a person or in your relationship, you have to be uncomfortable.
Okay, well, thank you. Then I'm on to something.
You are. I love that you keep saying it too.
Yeah, I think that because it's hard.
Yeah, it is hard.
It's hard.
Because it can either knock you down permanently or temporarily or raise you to the next level. And that's a risk some people don't want to take.
Yeah, well, who wants to completely reveal themselves and then get laughed at? Mm. Like inside, I wanted to raise geese. I love the geese as they take off. And all them motherfuckers like, right. You're crazy. And you're like,
but there's a level of revealing, though, I think. You don't have to go all the way there.
Yeah.
You can
Ooh, but I want to go all the way there, though.
You will, and you are. You are. You are.
I want to go all the way there. I am and I'm not. But I don't want to make it about me either, because that's the danger of the narcissist coming. Can't make it about you, but you just gotta. Yeah, failure, as much as you want to embrace it and uncomfortable. It's hard and it's difficult, and it's a struggle, and I guess it should be, because it's like working out. Anything that's a struggle is promoting growth.
Totally. Mentally, physically.
Mentally, physically.
I feel like when we face adversity, it builds resilience.
Yes.
So that ability to, that's not adverse for me anymore. I've been there. I moved through it.
Right.
Now I can take it to the next level.
Right.
And that's the benefit. If people can see that that's what happens, instead of being in that terrified, uncomfortable moment for too long.
Yeah.
It's like you move through it and then look at you on the other side.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a victory.
Build it.
And you're not going to win all those battles, too.
Nope.
I lose them, it's like, yeah, you want to get there for sure.
Yeah, my guys want to win every game.
Nah.
They're not going to.
I mean, I want to too, but you're not going to win.
No. And knowing that that's part of the process, and not necessarily you're not doing something wrong.
Learning how to lose. Yeah.
And reflecting, extracting, and then apply it to the next contest, game, match, and then reinvent yourself a little bit.
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what music is about. That's what relationships are about. And, I don't want... I'm going to attack society now. Let me attack society as a whole. Oh, I'm like my father. Those people, these people. Yeah, I am. I'm a lot like my dad. I work on that. But son of a broken man. I think we tend to want this. Like, I have a problem sometimes with cancel culture, because it's like, who hasn't done something in 20 years that they regret or that was horrible? I don't think I want to be around those people that haven't done terrible things, because I want to know that you're tested, so that when the shit comes, that you're not gonna freeze up, because the shit's gonna come.
Yep.
I want tested people that have failed, that have made mistakes. Man, I made these stupid comments. Man, I did this. I think if you've made bad mistakes, I think it's okay. If you're on the redeeming yourself, and I'm sure that doesn't make me popular again, but
no, I think it's great, because people need to expect that's what one does in life.
Yes.
That you're a human. You're not a robot. You're gonna, fumble.
You're gonna fumble, and we don't want these. I don't want these perfect robots that have not done anything, that have no dirt. It's not interesting. Mm-hmm. It's not even human. And there's so much like, I got you. Oh, you said that. Oh, I got you. You slipped up. You're done. It seems unfair. I don't want to placate this crazy, bigoted, right-wing agenda either. I'm completely, vehemently opposed that crap, because it's just distraction. And it's interesting about that. Like, when I talk to some people like that, I go, well, it'd be more interesting if you weren't just repeating slogans and repeating what other people are saying. I mean, if you're more conservative, it's okay. I'm sure I'm conservative about some things, you know what I mean? And that's okay. Why do we have to be this whole thing? And just like, you fit perfectly into this thing, and then no one's growing. We should challenge each other. We should be challenged. And that's how we grow into a beautiful society.
Word. I wanna transition the conversation into the last part, which is really about Oakland. Like, we've been talking about your ancestors, about your parents. Like,
yes.
What's the story there as to how they got here? Just growing up here, you were talking about growing up here too.
Absolutely. So you're talking about Oakland, California, Oakland, the Bay Area. Talking about Lake Merritt. You're talking about international. It used to be East 14th, Merritt Bakery, all the soul food restaurants used to be. You're talking about the Black Panthers. You're talking about Hell's Angels. You're talking about the East Bay Dragons, talking about a microcosm of what the world can be. Talking about Silicon Valley. You're talking about music from as diverse as Metallica to E40, Carlos Santana, Sly Stone, to MC Hammer to Too Short. I mean, you're talking about very interesting group of people. And where you could go out and get the most amazing food anywhere, Filipino food, Chinese food, soul food, Mexican food. I don't know about Chilean food. You're talking about some of the most mixed people racially in the world. It's a very interesting place. But then you're also talking about a city that's now losing that. Sorry, gotta be real. Talking about we're on the brink of losing that. You can't buy a house anymore. You can't rent a place, and we've kind of sold out to somebody's making out. Who have we sold out to? I want to know. I think it's corporatism. I think that's what it is. So we're trying to preserve that. Like people be like, man, I hella love Oakland. I've got my T-shirt. I've got it. Hella love it. But I'm like, well, why do you hella love it? Somebody made this shit cool. Somebody came a long time ago, man, and put in the blood, the sweat and tears and the vibrations and the grind to make this place have its swagger. Now, if you're trying to take people out of Lake Merritt from playing drums, you're killing the idea. You don't want street performers? Y'all are killing the whole idea of what makes why you love the Bay Area. It's like meeting someone, man, I love her, this woman, she's like this, and you get her, then you want to change everything about it. I want you to wear these boots. These boots. That's crazy. So we're in danger of losing that because if you don't get people, you can't have a bunch of rich people living here, with trust funds and with all this stuff. Then your art starts to suck. Your music's going to suck. Sorry. I think the greatest art forms came from people who were having a hard time. Look throughout history, don't take my word for it. So I think we're in danger of losing some of that. So we need to get to work. We came here in 1980, and it was on fire, man. I mean, you could go outside and just take it out of the air and eat it, man. Number one, 1980, hip hop was kind of new, but still was that funky element from the 70s. You could still smell it, and like the protest culture was more genuine. And, then punk music was happening, like all of it was like meeting at this crossroads. It was like a little bit of the gang culture was in there. It was dirt. Sprinkle some dirt there, it was rap battles going on the streets with people with safety pins in their mouth and walking by you while there was rap battles. It was just breakdancing kids. It was unbelievable, man. You can still smoke weed. The weed's too strong now. Put some weed now, I have some edibles, I end up in the emergency room, like having a nervous breakdown. Yeah, no. It's for old people out there. But yeah, it was just, we built so much here. And it was such a city that felt like endless possibilities and anything can happen. And I'd like to see that more. We can't price out all the people that don't have money. It becomes Monaco, then it'll be Monaco. I hella love Monaco. So Oakland has to be more than the slogan on the T-shirt, man. We got to get out there, man. Stop being afraid of each other. Get out there to those neighborhoods where you may be afraid of people. You may meet some cool people, actually. You know what I mean? And stop calling the police on people, walking through your neighborhoods that look different from you. While I seen you had the Black Lives Matter thing. Sign up. That ain't cool. And then we got to get out into nature. And then we live in one of the most beautiful places, man. I want to see us out there, black and brown folks on them trails. Come pick some mushrooms with me. I pick mushrooms. I know the ones that won't kill you. As long as I have my French guide, Frederic, give him a shout out. But yeah, That's what I think about Oakland, man. It's like, it's bittersweet. I don't want to lose that. I may have already lost it too. You know, I do a market here called Storefront Market, and part of that is to bring it back. And it's a market where we don't charge any of the vendors, and they're able to come sell all their wear, and then they get to keep it all. I feel like it's the spirit of Oakland, and we have pet adoption, we have live music, busking stage, we have food. The Oakland Roots should come have a booth. It's incredible. And I love that spirit of Oakland. And we can partner with these people that have all the money. I've been now able to get money from these people. Hey, man, listen, I got this thing that's amazing. Come give us some of that corporate money so we can put on more of this. You know what I mean? We have schools that come be involved in it and have like talent shows and just have kid commerce. What I love about this market is that now I see some of these kids, they have their own businesses. Like, look, I got $3,000 in the bank. I'm like, yes. So that they're learning how to deal with people, how to talk to people, look them in the eyes and make a sale, a legal sale. And that's industry. I love that. That's financial literacy. I love that. I love that hustling and that grind. That's what made me go play at the BART station. And I want to get some of that back. And that's why I have Storefront Market, and I'm working on Revolution Plantation. These are some of the things I want to do as part of my legacy as a person, human being. Fantastic Negrito. There's only one in the world. I made sure when I got that name, I'm like, nobody's going to have this name. Fantastic Negrito.
I wanted to ask you, you said bittersweet, the last days of Oakland.
Days of Oakland.
Is the sweetness gone?
Sweetness it's only gone if you want it to be gone. I look at it like that. Like if you walk outside and you just be like, oh man, these clouds, damn, I hate clouds. Or you can go out and say, you know what? It's kind of mysterious. Go get me a cup of coffee and sit up here with my lady or your man or whatever it is you sit up with. Sip some warm beverages and write some poetry about these clouds. Like, how do they make me feel? Let's drive across this bridge. It's mysterious and scary. Look at the water. I mean, everything's what you want it to be. I believe in that. So I look at the Bay Area, I still see the beauty. I just see that as an old guy, I keep saying old guy. We call this the old guy segment. When I wake up, it hurts. Hurts bad. So yeah. But you want to, I feel a responsibility to be like, hey, y'all, come on. If you listen to the last days of Oakland, ain't nothing complaining about. I don't like complainers. I'm not complaining about nothing. I'm talking about getting out there, roll up your sleeves and go talk to people and go get your guitar and play on the streets. We're doing something about it. And I love that. Like my grandmother said, we didn't have to ask white people for nothing. Sorry to keep picking on white people. And if you feel like I am, I'm not. This is grandma. She said white folks. She's from Virginia. That was her experience. But I love that she told us that.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a message to give a little black kid. Like, I'm not second. No. I can do some. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. I can start my own business. Yeah. Really? We all don't end up in prison? No. Shit, I like this, Grandma. Thank you. That's better than leaving me $1 million. Now, I'm about to do some shit with this, you know? So every pound I sold, I'd be like, thank you, Grandma. Thank you, Grandma, for the pound. I mean, come on, let's be real. We're laughing? No, that shit is real.
Yeah,
right.
My grandmother changed my life. Like, I was like, man, you can do it. We own our own business. When we started, the whole Negrito thing was like a collective. I quit music for 5 years. I had some homie, he was like, man, I'm trying to be a writer. I'm like, go be a writer, man. This weed business is good. Here, every month for 3 years, I used to just give him money. I was like, why are you giving him all that money? It's like, because he's a writer, he's talented. And then he called me one day, true story. What's up? Hey, keep that money that you're giving me. Why? Oh, I just got this show. What about it? He goes, that's all right. tell me about it. Oh, it's like kind of like the Black Dynasty. Remember Dynasty? Remember that? I'm like, what's it called? It's called Empire.
That's a trip.
So I was like, yeah, it sounds stupid. Bye. Click it. I remember that phone call. Then they're like, oh man, guess what? This show's #1. I like it now. And I'm like, okay. Like, I never watched that shit. I don't watch nothing. I got kids. So then they were like, yo, man, you should start playing music again. This is how this all started.
Wow.
By taking my grandmother's advice, by being a collective.
Yes.
And I never asked for that money back. I never asked for that money back. And I'm most proud of that shit. Because that's like something, like you got to get past that. Now, don't come asking me for money all the way. Yeah. Negrito, I heard that you won't ask for this back. You got to know when to do it. I was like, this dude was talented. He went on to do big things, but it was like, then he came back like, man, I think your music you had some music, remember? I was like, man. But they kind of talked me into walking around being Fantastic Negrito. So they came back with, listen, man, just quit growing weed. Price was going down anyway. I quit at $3,000 a pound. I'm like, tap out. Like the UFC, I'm good. I started when it was like 55. That's how old I am. 55, look at his eyes. You know he grows some weed. He's like, 55. 55 for a peaser, yeah. Good old days. But the thing is, I joke a lot, but laughter, that's how I get through all this.
Yes.
But I think that, just like kind of not being afraid to help someone that's strong. You know that they're strong. They may be down. Help that person, they may come back and be your friend. And they came back really and were like, go be Fantastic Negrito.
It's a trip.
And that's how it worked. And it's like,
I love that.
But a lot of that stuff ended. Egos, pride, on everybody, stuff falls apart. Because, man, everything ends because of ego and pride.
And greed? Maybe?
And greed.
Okay.
But ego and pride even before greed.
Before greed.
Ooh, ego, that is nasty. You can't go in that room and admit you was wrong, can't you? You can't go say sorry and, sorry, man, I've been really a bad person about this. Because the ego won't let you do it. People that messed up, they can't come tell you that. It could be a woman, it could be a friend, it could be a homie you didn't talk to in a long time. That ego is just, that you whisper in the ear, man, you don't do that. How are you gonna make yourself look like a punk? You're gonna look like the sucker, man. Man, I don't even like him, man. That's all. You know who counts on that and banks on that every day against us? Corporations. They know we ain't gonna do it. They know, they're like, oh, their egos, they'll fight over everything. Man, you get on a board of people, man, it'd be gay people, trans people, black, white, Jew, Muslim, Christians. Hey, Henry, yeah, okay, you take 50, I'll take 40, okay. See you on the golf course, yeah. But we're gonna be bitching about anything. Oh, you called me a Filipino, but I didn't like that. I'm not talking to you. You called me this. You didn't make me feel right. You didn't make me feel it. Yeah. And I'm not talking to you. We do that all the time. Like you people, like you Latino people, you did this, and you black people, we're on that all the time. We can't even take the next step. We can't even go like that because we're stuck. Because I go back there, because that's the devil. It's not the oppressive system. It's ego and pride. We get past that, I promise you. I learned that from being in that collective. My ego, man, here's $3,000 all the time because I need to do it. It's good for you, man. It's good for you. You understand? It's good for you. And then they came back, this is good for you. And you know what I get to do? I get to tell that story. Yes. That story's worth $10 million.
Yes, it is.
Because now maybe a couple people will go do that.
Yep.
And it's hard to do because it's not American. It's un-American. Americans this. I did it myself. I went out there every day. I pulled myself up by the bootstraps.
Talk about ego.
I worked, yeah. Talk about ego, but you know what that's doing? You didn't do it by yourself. You know how many motherfuckers put up with your shit and let you sleep on the couch, let you do this, maybe borrow some money, maybe you paid it back. Man, they put up with you. You practicing your guitar, it's terrible, your homie's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, You know, people, your girlfriend was like picking you up. It's cold. You
Going
know,
to the
picking you
shows,
up,
yeah.
going to the shows. It's 3 people. You know, you're just not giving those people credit. Nobody did it by themselves. Not Michael Jordan, not nobody, not LeBron. Somebody put up with you coming home late. You can't deal with the kids. They watching the kids by themselves. So I hate that idea of self-made. When I see that, oh, I hate that. Self-made person. That's the most egotistical, narcissist bullshit I've ever heard. Nobody ain't self-made. Your mama put you and your mama birthed you. That's it, you know, the birth, you know, I've seen a live birth. It's traumatic. And somebody put up with you and helped you and nurtured you. And your teachers even, every man, teacher wanted to kick you in the neck, but they didn't. You know, so I like that, you know. You spitting bars, they were terrible. But your homie was like, yeah, that's cool. But that was horrible until you got there. They put, you know, it's like every step along the way. Like I went to the BART station to play, but people put up with it. Their encouragement encouraged me, you know. Remember people called the police on me when I used to play on 25th and Broadway. Well, yeah, they did. I think some of the bar owners, because I used to have crowds, they didn't like that, the bar owners. But remember the police come up, Oakland police, I got to give them credit for this. They're like, you really from Oakland playing this music? Sounds like the South. They're like, keep doing it, bye. They're like, it sounds good. So I got to give them credit, you know. But it's a village that helps each other. It's like, it can be beautiful. That's what I'm looking for. If I just get 3 people, I'll be good in my lifetime. Got 3 people and we did it. Oh, we did it, man. We pooled our resources. We got the village. That's beautiful. I mean, the most revolutionary thing we can do is all move in together. We could do that, but we can't. But if we could, think like immigrants, everybody in the same house. We're gonna get through, make all the housing prices go down. Something, you know what I mean? Just rebel against this thing that's killing us. Don't come trying to move in with me either. Just because I said, I don't want your ass, you know, but I like the idea.
Richie knows this. My mom lives with us.
Well, that's amazing.
Intergenerational family.
That's amazing. That's what, that is it. I'm for that.
Yeah, and my kids get to know her.
Yeah.
I get to have these conversations that I just like listen at the door.
Yeah, no, let's get back to, at least let's try with that. Now I can put a yurt, you know, I can put that up and then you can bring, you know, you can move in there, a family, you know, but no, I love the idea. If I've always had family members, my nieces help raise me. I'm like, you're gonna live with us, be part of our family.
Yeah.
That's how you make it, man, you know?
Before we wrap up, in the last song you want featured titled Man With No Name, the following lyrics really struck me. Listen to the winds of change, blowing on your shoulder, the chief of the village, soldier, family, and friends. Listen to the winds of change, growing, getting louder. The miracle is about to begin.
Wow, I like that there.
What's the miracle that you're referring to here?
I think the miracle is what I'm talking about, the village. I think gratitude is the miracle. Gratitude is, man, do you know how powerful gratitude is? That's
a mental health tool right there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I
mean,
I want to hear, I have all kinds of things to say about it, but like what I want to hear.
Let me hear yours.
No,
okay, we're going to hear
you go.
Ladies first, I'm old-fashioned.
What I've learned in all of the schooling I've been to or whatever, gratitude, it improves your immune system. It accesses joy and optimism. It helps you build generosity. It helps you manage stress. It helps you feel more connected to a person.
I love gratitude.
And when you express them, no matter what it is, you can say, I'm grateful I woke up this morning. Yeah. I'm grateful for my breath right now. It doesn't matter what it is, but the act of expressing it, you get all those benefits. And check it out. Anyone else who heard it also gets all those benefits.
I love it. I'm a gratitude, man. You know, one of my songs, take the bullshit, turn it into good shit. That's what gratitude is. It's like, it's everything that you said, man. And it's like, even gratitude for the terrible things. That's been my next step. Like having this hand, I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for something really bad that happened because then I learned to have the coping skills. So I'm even like, okay, this is terrible, and I'm thankful, man. Thankful that it happened. Now I know. You know, best friend slept with your woman. I don't know, something crap. I write too many songs, but you're like, nah, no, motherfucker, you is not my best friend. You is not my woman. Mm-hmm. I'm actually, the pain's gonna be there, which will be good songs. But then the gratitude is being, that's what it was. And then the forgiveness, I mean, it's just it keeps going. Because then the forgiveness makes you stronger. But I think the miracle to me is, I know it's so simple that it's just gratitude. That's all that it is. Because if we all embrace that, the world will change and walk outside, it'll be different. Mm-hmm. And all the stuff I'm talking, I fail at it all the time. But I think that's part of being a human being, is that we're just on this long road of we falling down. Damn, I was an asshole yesterday. Let me try again. Damn, I was stupid. Let me try. Oh, I failed on that. Let me just keep trying.
Right on that note, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Xavier, for your time.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really great.
Right on.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Respect. Yes.
May I give you a hug?
Sure. I do hugs.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You've helped.
Well, that's what we're supposed to do.
You've helped me a lot.
Like I said, if we don't do that, it's like, what's the point?